Open Broadcast Software versions 0.658b. I've enabled the noise gate on this, mostly for entertainment value. I absolutely hate it, but it might reduce the file size when I make these recordings. Depending on the settings I use, I can get it down below 1 megabyte per minute for recording a shit-grade video like this. And of course, this brings up the question, why do you do this? Aesthetics, annoying people, trolling, dramatic effect, making your head float. The reason I do it is, by doing this, it has less crap to compress as well, and it makes it faster to upload on YouTube. That's the major reason. The other one is, I don't want to run out of space on the hard drive while making a recording, which I don't think I can do. When you open broadcast software, the program, on the screen you'll see a microphone button so you can mute the audio from your microphone, and there's another button on the right, this is wedge thing, to enable the system sounds. Now obviously I don't need them, so I turn them off. This thing, I hit the default button by accident, resetting everything, so I've had to relearn how to do this, so I'm making this video partially to help anybody trying to do the same thing. But I'm going to leave the noise gate in so you know why I never turn it on. Now, not associated with the program is the recording devices settings for your operating system. In this case, I'm using Windows XP combined with Windows 7. It's primarily Windows 7, but you get the idea. This is a chunk of code that's mostly Windows XP. I've disabled everything but whatever microphone shows a reaction when I'm talking. Open Broadcast Software preferred it when I selected a non-existent mic as the default at one point. That made no sense, it made it confusing, and I kept hitting the wrong damn button trying to fix this. So I've disabled everything but the correct microphone. Still made noise like it was going through several times over. So now we look in the Video Capture Device or Sources button. When I double click it, we get a slightly smaller window than the monstrous one it does for the system settings or the program settings. We can hit the Configure button for the video camera, and in this one I have several settings I've set. One of them is not using any setting changes under camera control. Light compensation can be enabled, and now you see what it looks like, and it turns the frame rate to shit from what I see. I don't know if you see that. Video Proc Amp, or whatever it's called, is the main screen. It'll have brightness, contrast, hue, etc. Everything is set dead in the middle except the following things I'm going to be explaining. Gamma is dropped to 0 because this is what happens when I crank it up. White balance is set to 0 because when I alter it at all, I get this. It's actually just set to auto. Not touching it. God, no. But then again, hey, Papa Smurf! So anyway, now that that's over with and the nightmare can begin, the gain is jacked way the hell up so that I can do a darkness image like this. The rest of them are all dead in the middle. I have saturation jacked up. That's color saturation because it forces essentially a black and white image to have some color that's perceivable. This also encourages YouTube to use the grayscaling capability within all three channels, red, green, and blue, so I can get a pseudo higher contrast ratio so it doesn't seem as blotchy with black and white. Notoriously, when you watch a video that's compressed, if it has a black background, you get blotches and movements, including in my videos. I'm trying to reduce it, not amplify it. Now, it also has a sharpness button that's set to 6. This is the lowest scale, and that's the highest. Now, why would that have an effect? All it's doing is it's telling the video on the hardware level, or at least through the encoder or compressor that's built into the Windows operating system, to try to increase the high-frequency characteristics of what would be, in the old days, an analog video signal, meaning don't limit the bandwidth. Or in this case, try to jack it up by letting any transition that's a short duration on the screen be amplified a little bit. It just increases the dynamic range a bit for that. But again, not much is done in here. It's mostly defaults and could be left that way. Now we get to the stuff that's annoying. This is within device selection under Open Broadcast Software. Use point filtering is not enabled. I'm sure it would do something. I don't care. That's the vertical flip, and that's a horizontal flip if you can even perceive it. I'm pretty sure you can. I have it set in selfie mode. This is my right hand. I'm on the right side of my face. De-interlacing was turned off, even though I'd like to use it to clean up the quality. All it did was make it turn to crap. Custom resolution is enabled, and it's set to 160 by 120 at 30 frames a second. Now, I can do 15 frames a second, and it should theoretically chop the bandwidth down and should reduce the volume of the file size down by half. Now, for the audio device that's set here, I have it set to disable, so I have to use a little microphone function. It seems to work better, and more importantly, it lets everything within the software work. This is a peculiarity about the driver on my computer. I don't think it has anything to do with Open Broadcast software. The rest of it is unused. I'm not messing with it. Color space is set to full auto. I could use a chroma key and put me in some interesting environment while being essentially a face with a black background, I guess. I'm not going to do a green screen. So I hit OK. Now we get to the settings function within the software, which is a big, big screen. We're at almost 6 minutes now. Here we go. General. I don't mess with it. Encoding. This has got some stuff to change. First of all, it defaults to the X264 encoder. If you're not aware of it, it's an encoder that's, if it's not doing anything unusual, is very compatible with YouTube. Some settings like frame rate shouldn't be dicked with. Just set it to 30 or 15 or something rounded off. YouTube can handle it, but don't let it change frame rate during the video. It should do that. That is part of the standard for video. If I'm showing a static image like this, it should just say 1 frame a second. It would save bandwidth. Don't do that if you want it to work. I'm setting it to 30 frames per second to see how bad it can get here as far as how big the file gets. And I'm expecting out of a 15-minute video, if it goes that long, to be less than 15 megabytes. Bit rate on the far right for audio is set to 48 because that's the minimum before my voice sounds like shit in this recording format. It's set to mono because I'm not going to set up stereo mics. The video here is me presenting something to you and not doing anything visual, and the audio just has to not be annoying. And the visual, as I've explained, is pumped up a little bit. It has absolute blacks, better grayscales, and some color in it. And the frame rate isn't annoying to where it doesn't go chugga 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 across the screen. The audio codec is MP3 simply because that has shown me to be the least problematic of the bunch. It's also the only other one on it is some AAC AAC thing that... No. Anyway, next, video. I have it set again, resolution downscale, nothing. It's just the 160 by 128 that I'm using as a custom value. Now, it has to match the camera as best it can, and the camera's putting it out that way. I could do 640 by 480, which is a standard, but that jacks up the amount of space needed. And again, it's set to 30 frames a second, not 60 or 15. Just because I can. Next, on audio, it's set to specifically use a specific microphone. Finally, without having an echo of some phantom microphone or duplicate of the audio repeating a half second later, or a couple of microseconds later, or whatever. Under advanced, oh boy, here we go. Processing priority class. What is this used for? If other programs are interrupting your video recording using Open Broadcast software, force its priority above normal. You probably won't have to, but you may have to. It depends on if a program decides it's just going to butt in. Allow other modifiers on hotkeys. I didn't mess with that. It's set to enable it, but I don't care. Disable encoding while previewing is a good thing, but I don't do that because I need to see in the preview its encoding and screw-ups. And even if it looks like shit, it might look good. I could be watching myself on the screen here with a whole bunch of rackety bullshit going on, but the frame rate could be just fine in the encoding. So I found out I really should have disabled it, but I didn't. And the next thing is the settings that might affect the size or quality of your experience. But we're going to start with the video CPU preset for the 264X thing. Set it to very fast or really low. If the lower the number is, like low or very low or whatever, seems to make it have less trouble encrypting or encoding or whatever. Very fast and high is how I have it set right now, but on older computers, you may have to set it really high or really low. It doesn't seem to match up with the hardware specifications. Use CFR, continuous frame rate. Yes, even though video standards should obviously include the ability to go into slideshow mode, just like video games do. They go into like 2 frames a second and you're dead playing Call of Duty. It's not friendly with any software or any website yet. Next, there is no next on the advanced. Microphone noise gate is what I have enabled now. Now, during this recording, I have been very cruel and left it enabled. Now, I don't know if I can disable it on the fly during the recording here, but I'm going to disable it in a second here. Right now, it's showing the thing as a preview or the actual recording that's being made. It's showing it's being recording. So here we go at the 10 minute and 38 second mark here. I'm going to turn off the noise gate by clicking the little button, and I'm going to hit apply if I can reach it. Now, terrifyingly, now it's doing correctly here. Terrifyingly, in here at the bottom there is a defaults button. If I'm in a screen that says microphone noise gate and I hit default, the only thing that should change back to defaults is the noise gate programmers. If you write software and put a defaults button or reset to defaults button, and it does it to every goddamn thing or about half of it, only half kills it, please make sure it's clearly labeled. Because I didn't know what the default for the noise gate was. I wanted to set it to defaults and change it from there. And it hosed the system. It's been several hours. I don't even know how many. I don't want to know. Anyway, the attack time I have on the noise gate that was the least annoying. 10 milliseconds attack time, hold time 50, release time 100. So, there, the pain should be gone. Now I'm going to turn it back on because I hate the noise gate. So that's it for today's video. I'm not going to do any screenshots. I'm doing this mostly because I'm leaving a note to myself so that when, not if, I fuck this up again, I'll have some of the settings. There's an obnoxious number of settings. I'm using this piece of software to do just basically a webcam activity that should be really easy. A webcam activity should realize that if I'm in a darkened room, I either want to emphasize the background and go into night vision mode or completely obliterate it for bandwidth. The preset should be lowest bandwidth possible by doing analysis of a video you make, let's say a 15-minute video make. It should go through, analyze it, and figure out the settings that work best for those conditions. And then when you change the conditions dramatically by turning on and off a light or going to a different room, it should allow you to change it or create a new profile. But this software isn't like that. This open broadcast software is for doing things like grabbing the entire screen, sticking a copy of me in the corner, doing a dozen things. And I'm really not exploiting all of its features, and I shouldn't be bitching. And I'm not really bitching. I also want to point out that it's still available, and I want to point out that there's more than one version of it. If I open the file location, it says that brains. I hit the wrong button. Let's not talk about me. Let's talk about your problems. There's also OBS 25, and this one came out in 2019, and I don't remember. I'm pretty sure I can just run it as well and put it on the screen, and hopefully nothing terrible happens, he said knowingly. Let's see if it'll open it. I don't think it's going to open it. Maybe I don't want it to open it. Oh, it opened it. Oh, boy. Would you like to run... Oh, God. Oh, no. It's asking me to update. Oh, no. Oh, no. Oh, no. And that's why I don't run it. First thing it wants to do is have a conversation with you, pour on how awesome it is, and really, really encourage you to make stupid mistakes. Anyway, the nosegate is off. Thanks for watching. Have a good day. Good luck with that. Hopefully this has been useful to you, and that'll be great. Mostly, again, this is a note to myself because I fucked up today. And the programmers, if you're a programmer, don't put a reset button on every damn page and not tell people that it's going to reset everything else. And yeah, the newer version, maybe I should sit there and configure it, but hey, at least it comes with a pause button or something, right? Bye.